at $1.6 million.
Heck yes.
That was doing multi-millions, launches to live events, to high-ticket masterminds.
I have never heard of a situation of a clean launch.
$67 program, and then finally invest in you.
That's why I shifted a couple years back. All right. We have Cindy Padilla. Cindy, so good to see you. Oh my goodness. I'm excited for this one. So, Cindy, I'll let you introduce yourself and your backstory in just a second. But why I'm excited for this is because Cindy and her husband, Jim, they lead a wonderful sales enablement, sales management, sales training organization called Gain the Edge. And before I just completely steamroll, I'm really excited because sales, as we know, is the other side of the coin from lead generation or marketing. And so, Cindy, thanks for being here.
Daniel, I am so excited to be here with you. Our worlds came together. We're working with a client together, and that's the beauty of the work that we do. We get to meet so many amazing service providers and experts, and as we are brought into organizations to help increase sales. So again, my name is Cindy Padilla. With my husband, Jim Padilla, we created the company Gain the Edge. And we officially launched, we went into a mastermind in 2014 with our new "What do you do" statement. We're Jim and Cindy Padilla, and we're your go-to solution for done-for-you sales teams for launches and live events. And I didn't know what I was saying. I was like less than a year out of corporate at the time. I didn't even know this coaching world existed. I thought everybody in the coaching world was loony. And it was almost frightening. And I've got a client. We got a client. Like 2 weeks later, Bill Barron of The Big Shift reached out, and we did his launch in January of 2015 for PPSS. I can't remember what it actually stands for, but that's in the heyday when the Jeff Walker launches were PLF. Everybody was reading the PLF product launch formula book, and everybody was doing them. And we did $1.6 million.
Oh man, hold on. Repeat that.
It was a phenomenally successful train wreck of a launch at $1.6 million.
Heck yes.
It's so fun when I go back and think about that. Bill Barron and The Big Shift, an organization at the time that was doing multi-millions, launches to live events, to high-ticket masterminds. And what they had, it was our first foray into the understanding and recognition that so many people build businesses, but the last thing that they build and solidify is their sales foundation.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have salespeople? What do you mean you don't have this? What do you mean? And we got off that call, and we did the launch. It was so we affectionately call ourselves at that time, we were like the Bad News Bears in a Google Doc, man. We didn't have any systems. We didn't have any team. It was me and Jim, and he got on the phone and reached out to other business owners and people that he'd been coaching. We had our high school daughter running live chat. I'm like, just respond to this and then send everybody here. And
get them on the call.
But it worked. It was great. And that literally opened up the floodgates of, everybody was knocking at our door at that time. Again, it was 2015. Everybody was doing PLF launches into live events, into masterminds. That was the whole funnel, and it was working like a dream. So that's how we got started, Daniel.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, hats off to you. 1.6 million with a launch. And when you say a train wreck of a launch, I resonate with that. And I know anybody listening would resonate with that. I have never heard of a situation of a clean launch. No, seriously. I mean, you hear about big launches and you hear at face value, people are like, yeah, that launch went great. But you peel back the curtain and they're like, oh, my world was burning down. So launches are wild. Cindy, similarly, I had a service for a couple of years where we did turnkey launches, challenges, boot
Hmm.
camps into high ticket offerings. It was the Russell Brunson 5 day challenge type of thing. We called it a
Okay.
community launch, not to distract us, but that's why I speak so adamantly about launches. They're never clean.
They're
So,
not. And again, the floodgates open. We worked with Danny Inney. We worked with Josh Turner and Lane Selling. We actually, the Zig Ziglar organization reached
mm,
out. I mean, we just, it was just, it was miraculous and it was stunning and exciting. And I could just tell you how many things went wrong in every single one. Like,
yeah.
oh gosh, what was the name of the CRM? No, Infusionsoft.
Oh, oh, ooh,
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, it would just cause mayhem, and emails weren't going out, and all kinds of stuff happened, and we wonder why. And so, what we learned even back in the day, which really connects to where we are now in 2025, is we were successful, and launches won, and live events won, and sales won because you had humanity, because you had humans that weren't going to let this thing like
yeah.
we just weren't going to let it happen. And I mean, sometimes we had launches with 15 sales reps, like 2 leaders, a dozen sales reps. And if technology failed or anything happened, like we're humans, you respond. And that's what I think, I know has been our bread and butter, has been our saving grace, and has been our reputation, in that we will always win because there's always a plan and a plan and a plan, and
Yeah.
it can get as manual and as human as possible to
Mm,
make sure that everybody is served.
I like that. I on the other side of the coin, I talk a lot about the energy, and sometimes when we have chaotic or negative energy, then it greatly affects a campaign, a funnel, a launch. But I like the
Mm-hmm.
humanity. I like you talking about that. I wanna go from that and segue into what would you tell someone right now who's doing six figures or so, and they're caught in the launch roller coaster. It's a spike of energy and a spike of money, but
Mm-hmm.
then, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, what do we do? Obviously, you can't launch every single day or even every week. I mean, I don't want to meet the company that does launch every day.
Yeah, I don't
But
want to work with that company either. That'd be
but what
exhausting.
would you tell them in the year of our Lord 2025 right now, when everything is a bit crazy? What would you
Mm-hmm.
tell someone who's stuck in the launch cycle and who hates it? They're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
Yeah.
Any words come to mind?
Yeah. For me, when we think of a launch or a live event, it is the business owner has to be clear on what is its role in your business? What's its role in your sales goals for the year?
Yeah.
And we do believe in doing launches over and over again and events over and over again because they're a freaking ton of work. And so we wouldn't ever do that much work and only do it once. Like, and then you're only going to get better every time you do it. So that's one thing. But what we talk about and what is great is that that's the first time someone's meeting you is at a
Mm,
launch
yeah.
or a live event, and it's a phenomenal way to collapse time frames from the perspective of them knowing you, seeing you in action, meeting your community, understanding more about you because you're more than what you offer. They're not even buying what you offer, they're buying you. So they're phenomenal catalysts for that. But it's understanding that as a business owner, sales isn't, Jim always talks about, you can't run your sales division on a stopwatch. It's not how we make sales. It is on a calendar. You have to be patient and you have to build relationships. And that's more critical now more than ever, which is super interesting because everything is spiking. AI is going to take over the world and take everybody's jobs. And we will always be that stand that as long as humans are the end user, a human will be part of the sales process.
hmm Yeah, I believe that too. And I spoke with you right before this session. I just got back from my mastermind for agency owners. And one thing they talked about is being transparent in your pricing how you can be
Mhm.
more self-service and self-serve on your website, where you build up the trust throughout the customer journey. And then when it comes time to make that decision, you pass them over to the salesperson. So it's almost like rough pricing, estimated pricing, generally, so they have an informed understanding. But then here's exact pricing. Let's talk with somebody. And so
Mhm.
that from my brain, which is, I don't spend a ton of time in the sales land of things, but from my view of things, that just greatly increases conversion rates, etc. But anyway,
Well,
did you have something to say about that?
I do love what you said because I've been doing a lot of research. Well, my AI assistant's doing a lot of research for me. And
Yes.
what we're finding is that sales cycles are longer. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in July of 2025, and they're longer than they were in January, right? They
Yeah.
just are. Buyer behavior is continually evolving, and right now it's taking longer. And what I was just reading this morning in the research is that the buyers, they are doing a lot of their own research. So that does line up with exactly what you said. They're coming informed. It doesn't mean they know what's best for them. They just have information. They just have knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the role of a salesperson, is to help discern all the information that they think they have, and really help them make the best decision for their
Hmm.
business, for their life, for whatever is being sold. But they are coming with a level of knowledge. And so the salesperson has to be able to navigate that and know how to speak accurately with a lot of emotional intelligence to so many different people. And I
Yeah.
love what you said, because generally, and then this is what we feel is best for you. A buyer wants the sales experience, which is the marketing experience, because the marketer's job is to get people to raise hands. The sales job is to get people to then give us a credit card.
Yeah.
And I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's
They want
okay.
to feel special in every step of the
Yeah.
way.
Yes. Yes. The experience. What
Yes.
Jay Abraham talks about, preeminence, the experience,
Mm.
preeminence, and just being a good shepherd. And that's something I've kept top of mind since I started early in my business journey, is that how do we as marketers, we drive the golf ball down the range, get it as close to the hole as possible to then tee it in. But all along the way, hey, golf, it's a fun sport if you're playing it right. You're out there, you maybe have a couple drinks, you're talking. And so all along the way, eh, I think about it like consultative sales. And so I've never been one to be a hard closer
Mm-hmm.
for my own sales, and I've gotten compliments on that. But I'm curious. There's a bridge here. I'm going to land the plane in a second. I'm curious what you think of consultative sales versus sales of yesteryear, maybe old school sales. I just want to I want to see the timeline here from my perspective and my benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have been the majority of the clients that we have served over the decade have been very heart centered, definitely in the
Yeah.
conscious coaching business world. So we always bring in sales people, and our whole mission has been a value alignment first, and then the skill set. Because and again, I grew up in retail for decades. Like, I just was looking for really smart kids that, young people, whoever wanted to come work for Target or Gap, wherever I was working. They had initiative, they could handle themselves. I could teach you to do anything. I just need to
Yeah.
know you have intelligence, emotional intelligence, a willingness. And so, we're looking for more than that. We're looking for heart. We are looking for that. And then we can train people on our methodology of creating a sale. And I think that's what has really set us apart. And it's in, a lot of our bylaws in our own companies, that we will never sacrifice a brand or a lead for the sake of a sale.
Yeah.
We've been saying that since 2015, and it's even more imperative now because the sales cycles are longer. So you can't burn a bridge in the effort to close a sale
Hmm.
when people just need time. They may come to two launches, one live event, buy a $67 program, and then finally invest in you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that completely. I want to talk about what's separating the winners from the losers right now? Maybe losers is a harsh word, but what's separating the ones that are making money profitably, a lot of money, versus the ones that are,
Hmm.
oh no, I'm breaking even at best. Anything
Yeah.
come to mind? Of course, they need to use you and gain the edge.
Yeah.
Are they focusing on one type of offer? Or are they pushing them through one type
That's a
of
great point.
funnel?
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that nudge. Yeah, it is about having an offer suite. I think most importantly, but when we work with our clients, whether they're striving, six figures, want to be seven, or we're even working with this 7, 8 figure businesses, they always come to us because they want more sales. They need a sales team. They have an underperforming sales team. We get in and we see all the mayhem. And there's always there is a core offer, but what's more than that is has to be a lifetime journey. Like we as business owners have to want to work with clients for years.
Hmm.
And humans love connection and they love relationship and they love trust. And so if they come to work with you, Daniel, or they come to work with us.
Hey, Daniel Pope here. Real quick, I want to give you a huge thanks for listening. If you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you share with others. That's how I get the word out, by you sharing it with somebody that could really benefit from this. Now, I started this podcast to stand out above the noise, to give real growth tactics in a crazy world when others may give some misinformation or not cover everything you need to know. That's not my MO. My MO is being able to give back, being able to help others see what they actually need to do in order to grow. And that's why personally, my company, Be Known, we don't offer any courses or coaching programs. We're a done for you service provider because we know in this world, sometimes people just need a helping hand, a connected team, and an expert to be there every step of the way. So again, I really appreciate you listening, and talk to you soon.
They don't want their program and then to have to go find something or someone else like 6 months later, a year later. Like that's just
Yeah.
work. And so, how do we create this lifetime journey for clients that will stay with us 3, 4, 5 years? Our average client right now is staying with us about 3.5, 6 years.
Yeah. Gotcha. And so basically I'm hearing lifetime value scream out in my head. And so
Yeah.
LTV for you and your clients, but LTV for you and your company, but also LTV for your clients, customers,
Yes.
clients. And so I believe gone are the days where you can put up a webinar, automate it, and sell a course profitably. 997, pop it out at a 2.5x ROAS or better. And so that's why I shifted a couple years back into, I only want to work with clients that are actively selling high ticket,
Mhm.
$3,000 plus, a little leeway there. But would you agree with that? Would you disagree? Or I'm curious what you're seeing in the marketplace too.
Yeah. Can I go back to lifetime value?
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
what's
please.
so important is lifetime value. Again, in our decade, when working with clients, there's times we have to say, and we recognize like even the onboarding process isn't strong and it's going to
Hmm.
cost us clients. We're going to have retention issues, or we
Yeah.
need to add a retention subscription model. We need an alumni model. Like we've been doing this, like there's so many ways to, and that's where your profit comes from, because the longer you can keep a client and you're keeping them and you're working, because you keep solving bigger and bigger problems for them. Like every time you provide a solution, well, now they have a new problem. Now I need to know how to do this. And it doesn't mean that we solve it. That's why we have partners like you, Daniel, and we have other people that come in and solve the next level problem challenge that they are going to have in growing their business.
Yeah.
um, that's so important. That's where the profit comes, in our opinion, right? The longer you can work with
Hmm.
them, then you're recouping the hardest sale you ever make is that first sale.
Yes,
All the
absolutely.
time. If you're not running ads, then maybe it just cost you a ton of time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I share with any coaching client that comes my way
Hmm.
is that, look, you have time or money. Which do you have more of? You got more money? Well, let's brute force this bad boy with ads. You got more time? Well, you know, time to put on your social media hat or affiliate and partnership hat too.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so to go off on a tangent on that, I'm very adamant about this subject is Facebook ads are not the only way to grow your business. Let me
No.
say it again. Meta ads, they are not the end all be all. My goodness, there are so many ways to drive traffic and drive traffic profitably to your business. And I
Yeah.
am in the camp. I'm actually on the train. I'm the conductor of this train for my clients. Choo choo. Hey, you need to find strategic referral partners because just one can supply you 7 figures of business. All
Yeah.
right. That's end of my rant. But
No, and we're completely aligned with that. We call them client first collaborations because
yeah.
we want to make sure that if I'm going to introduce my clients to you, Daniel, it's at the exact right time.
Yes.
It's not too early. It's not for my benefit just to get more subscribers. I'm literally like, this is the exact time that you need to work with Daniel and his
Hmm.
company.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how we built our business is with strategic relationships. I think Jim and I were meeting last night. He has 2 interviews the rest of this month, and they're with high caliber masterminds
Yeah.
where he gets to go in and provide incredible value, and you have to know how to be in those situations because this is his colleagues, our colleagues, most precious people. Like he's
Yeah.
invested hundreds of thousands to curate this mastermind. We don't go in charging and selling. We go in providing incredible value and then
Yeah.
see who we can work with in there if the time's right.
So to relate that back to the listener, I think about it like let's say you are doing financial consulting for lawn care companies, right? Small lawn care companies. You're a fractional CFO. Then I would suggest you, listener, go out there and find associations. And so there may not be masterminds per se that you
Mm-hmm.
need to spend 25K right off the bat to join, but go and find the association. Go to the event, see the other sponsors, and try and work your way in because those sponsors already have customers there, most likely, unless they're brand new, but that's not what I'm talking about. So go in there and start to network. And so the associations have sponsors, so you can go to the associations, the sponsors themselves, and build up business friendships, I like to call it. And suddenly you're doing free training and free knowledge transfer to their audience. And what does Hermosi always say? He says, give away the secrets, sell the implementation. And so
Mm.
that's something I'm adamant about too. It's this is a fun conversation so far because again, you don't have to run a single Facebook ad to build a 7 figure business. You can,
We,
but
yeah, we didn't even have a website for like 3 years.
you said bad news bears with a Google Doc.
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, it was and then we got a website, and then went through years of different people touching it, and it got so bad. I'm like, shut that sucker down. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. And so we shut it down and literally just put up like a sales page, and it just says,
Yeah.
"This is who we are. If this is what you need, book a call." And that ran. That was our website until probably like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. And you've been very successful
Very
even
successful.
with a single page. And I've seen it before. Some of the ugliest funnels convert 7, 8 figures. Again, I'll bring up Hermosi. I remember seeing him speak at Funnel Hacking Live in 2018, and he talked about high ticket. And I was like, high ticket, lifetime value, annual contract value? What's that? And so I went down this rabbit hole of studying him. You know what his gym launch pages look like? Crap. They
Yeah.
looked awful, but they converted like crazy because of the social proof, Cindy. And I know I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
going off on another tangent here, but it's so important because I the original question was what separates the winners from the losers right now, and I firmly believe that if you can stack social proof feedback, testimonials, reviews on your page, it doesn't have to be the best page. If you
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, I've done it for 10 people, I can do it for you. Apply here." then that works wonders. Anyway, I don't mean to get us completely off
No,
track,
and
but
that's as a third party sales because we come in and we need that. And
yeah,
so often we get into some companies and they just don't have enough of it. And so here's the salesperson trying to edify the CEO and the company and the product and the program, and we don't have enough social proof. So that is super important. Like even for us, we've put ourselves like once a month, we just reach out even to our current clients. Can we get an update on where you
yeah,
are? And
yeah,
oh yeah, last quarter I did this. I got this proposal. You guys helped me create this. I'm now charging 5,000 when I was charging $150 an hour. Like you have to keep grabbing those, and then you can do it organically. Like we've done a better job of we teach in our group programs every single week, and every single week we ask for like share us your wins. We
yeah.
need to be grabbing those,
And
and
not just
then
monetary wins, right? I heard you talk about proposal. You helped me create a proposal. Like
yes.
how do you capture, or how do you get your clients to think about wins and not just financial? Yes, we need
Mm.
money, right? Business growth is based on monetary and financial stats. So how are you training people to think more of the, I guess, qualitative type wins?
Yeah. Well, we believe that anybody who created a business, you did it. One, you want to be of service. You feel you have something amazing. You've learned something. You want to share it with the world and help other people. Two, you want to make money. You want to leave a legacy for your family, your future. And you want freedom. Freedom.
Yep.
And, like we have one client and, she just yesterday, she got back from a 2-week vacation in Mexico. She went 7 years without going on vacation with her family
Mm,
because she didn't
mm,
have systems, because she didn't have the right team, because she didn't have the right sales structures and things like that.
yeah.
So it's connecting the dot as to why any of us are doing this, because trust me and you, it'd be a hell of a lot easier if we all went and got jobs.
Yeah. You're telling me.
I
Oh
could work
man.
8 to 5. Of course, I'd have to listen to people, do what they say, and show up when they want. That's not part of my
I
DNA.
couldn't go grocery shopping at 8 a.m. No, I don't do that too often, but when I do, oh, it's pleasant.
It's great. I know. That's so funny. Yeah.
So Cindy, what is working from tactical structure? Like I know the listener may be wondering, hey, I don't even have a salesperson. I don't know where to start.
Mhm.
And so, of course, they'll contact you afterwards. But when we think about it, who is the first sales hire that they should make? Eh,
First sales hire.
Yeah. And if that's too loaded, maybe I can drill it down a bit
Yeah.
further.
Drill
Would it be
down.
a setter? So they're getting leads haphazardly. Would it be a closer or an account executive?
It's a salesperson. Yes. The first person you
Salesperson.
want to bring in is a salesperson.
Yeah.
But before that, for any, this is a loaded
Do you
question.
need the plan? Do we need to do a plan before?
Please don't bring a salesperson in without any structure, without any systems, without any documentation. Salespeople are not miracle workers. They don't have magic powers. They truly need systems. So they would need to know, where are your warmest leads? Where are all your booking links? Where are your sales pages? What am I selling? What's your lifetime journey? Who's your client? How long do they work with you? What kind of results do they get? Like there's so much more that goes into all of this when you bring on a salesperson.
It's so important. And I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, but poor planning. Wait, well, I wrote this down a second ago. This is it. Proper planning prevents poor performance. My
Yes.
goodness. Yeah. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And
Yeah.
so if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I'm
Mhm.
adamant about that. If you see our Be Known website, then you'll see it's data driven decision making and planning. And
Mm.
so, Cindy, where would somebody start? Could they leverage AI to help them create a sales plan, or what would be the first thing? Because when I hear that, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, oh no, I've got to do customer journey mapping. Ah.
I know now. I know. I'm like, okay, back it up, Padilla, back it up. Um,
Would it's
when we work with our clients, we do create a one-page strategic plan called our money-making plan. So it's not your business plan with all of the stuff, but it's like, who are you serving? What's their
yeah,
bleeding neck problem? What's your promise to the marketplace? What's your solution? What are your three core offers? And how much money do you want to make? If you want to make $1 million, that's 83,000. How much of this $5,000 program are you going to sell? How much of the 20,000? How much of the
yeah,
500? And then the real important thing is the cadence. What's your cadence of sales activities? So is it going to be a Facebook Live once a week? Are you going to local networking? Are you doing a monthly webinar? Every business owner needs to be producing a educational event every single month minimum.
yeah.
Minimum.
Yep. That's a hill I'm willing to die on too.
Mm-hmm.
And we've both seen it time and time before. It is a money making activity, what I call an income producing activity. IPA.
Okay.
I love IPAs. I love the beer, and I love income producing activities. So
Yes.
yeah. And listener, there's a video I recorded recently on that. It's called IPAs versus TSAs. Nobody wants to be stuck in the time suck activity line.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
yeah. So Cindy, I'm sure there's a lot more to explore in the money making plan, but I want to talk about who is not a good candidate to hire a salesperson. I'm sure everybody out there thinks that they could wave a magic wand and salesperson would come in and they'd be $1 million business, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
What are some
Yeah, I'm thinking,
attributes?
yeah, because we get a message a week, right? I
Yeah.
think I'm ready for a sales team, or hey, I launched this new program and it's not selling. Can you guys help?
Oh,
Just all kind, like every week we get requests, and we meet with people, and we just,
yeah.
what are you doing? Where were you? What do you have? How you launching it? This is our feedback. You could probably go do it by yourself. Is 90% of our
Yeah.
conversations. Um, can you repeat the question?
What well, what are some attributes of why do you turn people away? What attributes of a
Mm-hmm.
you see a non-scalable offer? I'm curious because by understanding what's not going to work, I want to bridge the gap into,
Yeah.
hey, just do the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a wonderful colleague reach out a few months ago, and she's like, "I think I need a salesperson," and they told me to call you. And she has leads. She had leads coming in from LinkedIn, um, but it really isn't enough for a salesperson. And then
How
looking at
many
her activity and her offer and what
yeah.
she's currently generating, I'm like, there just isn't enough volume to also sustain
Yeah.
another person that's going to start taking a cut. I think often
Yeah.
people don't understand that it does cost money to bring on a salesperson. Everybody thinks a commission salesperson is free, and they are, because they're bringing you sales and you give them a percentage. But there's a lot of other time and energy that goes into making sure that salesperson wins. And your
Yeah.
business as a whole has to continue to scale to support that growth, because a
Yeah.
salesperson wants to make 100K a year. So if
Yeah.
you're only making 100K a year, you can't bring in a salesperson that you think is just going to double your volumes. It just doesn't work that way.
So the compensation is a touchy subject for a lot of people. What are your views on commission only versus base rate versus high base rate, very small commission? I'm curious what you think about that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We've been commission only for a decade, and it's been
Yeah.
really profitable for us. It's been profitable for our teams.
Yeah.
There's definitely areas that are more profitable, and we have sales reps that have been in our world for a dozen years, and man, they love a launch and they love an event. They love the high energy and they can get in there and they know how to pull sales and engage and follow up, and those are great. It's the day to day sales. It's harder. It's hard because there isn't always that urgency and that scarcity. So the salesperson has to create that and find that in that person in that conversation without being
Mm.
a liar and like, oh, there's only five left. No, it's not. There's more than five. We don't have to say those things to close the sale, but we have to find out why it matters now. Like if you don't do this now, what's the consequence? What's the cost, the loss, the opportunity cost if you don't take action? Um,
So what's the
that's
argument? What's the argument for a base rate plus commission, and why have you succeeded with commission only?
I do believe, and like for our own company, because we're smaller, again, we've
Hmm.
been done for you. So we are now growing this other side of the business.
Yeah.
And so we do have someone that has a small base and commission because she's also more business development.
Tell me about that. To
So
pretend
she
that
has
I don't.
to hunt, right? I mean, she
Mm,
has to go into the CRM that we have done a good job of organizing and
yeah.
giving and providing scalable chunks of leads that we know have history and that she can go and speak to with a level of relevancy and connection. And then we're making sure she has all kinds of resources just to be super generous and give things away.
Yeah.
So she's working, right? I don't have a funnel that's producing 400 leads for a webinar. I don't. It doesn't mean there's not tens of thousands of dollars in my list. We just have to work a little harder at it.
Gotcha. And that's where the base rate would come in to
Yes.
bridge the gap between, just like a launch. Hey, oh no, what are we doing between now and the next launch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. No, just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So we know that the first hire should be a salesperson. And from there, we need to figure out if that's more of a BDR, business development, or someone who is just taking inbound and just closing, commission only,
Hmm.
closing. And so we talked about who doesn't make a good fit, but what are the attributes of a perfect client for you? How do you know that they're prime for
This is
hiring
a
sales?
great question because I was doing some homework this weekend,
Yes.
and I was, yes, I mean, our best clients, the ones that were most enjoyable to work with, where we know we delivered incredible results, um, really great communicators,
Hmm.
strong boundaries on and clear expectations.
Yeah.
Like we weren't expected as the sales division, as a sales team to like carry it all and keep the company going. Like that's just too much to wear.
It's a lot of
Um,
stress.
and very stressful, very stressful. And they had team when I was really looking back, because what will always happen, and you said it earlier, when you get in and start creating a launch for someone, and we come in and start building a sales team or a foundation, we just there's gaps and there's holes and there's messes everywhere. There's duct tape everywhere that we have to go in and like pull it apart and put it back together. And we can come in and do that work well if they have a team that I can give really clear direction. This needs to
Hmm.
be fixed. This is why I need it done by this day. And then we can move to this, then we can move to that. If we can't fix things, because what I'm really good at is fixing and growing at the same time and producing results at the same time. It's all possible, but that does require like there have to be fixers and there has to be leaders and sellers. Like there has to be
Yeah.
enough people. And where we have not done well and we've parted ways with clients, is because we just couldn't get the results. And it was really nobody's fault. Like we didn't know that there were these limitations, maybe, or this many issues
Yeah.
until we get in.
So how do you qualify, pre-qualify for that? even on the front
We're
end.
learning. We're learning.
Yeah.
I think
As we all are.
it's so, it's so interesting because Jim will have. I'm blessed, so blessed that I'm in business with Jim because he's the visionary, and so he has these amazing conversations with the business owner, and they just go to the moon and back.
Yeah.
And then I get on the call. I'm like, all right, guys, gals, where are we really?
Yeah.
And then we can put a proposal together and find out, how we're going to step in and support people.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of optimism in the marketplace that is left over from 2015 and 19 and 2020 that needs to be wiped out of everybody's memory. Like, and optimism is one of our core values. Like, I am an optimistic. I have huge faith. I believe everything is working out. I believe there's a solution. But we all need to face reality, and sales is, I don't even like to use the word sales. Lately, I've become like it's selling because selling is a process, it's a journey,
Yeah.
it's going to take time.
So where are we in the great timeline of finances?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
2015 it was very easy. 2020 it was easy
Yeah,
ish. But now here we are in 2025, and whether we're listening in 25 or 2030, that's only 5 years away though. Where do you think this all is headed, especially with the information product, excuse me, industry?
yeah. Well, the research and the evidence is that sales cycles are longer.
Yeah,
So people need more time, touch, and incentive before they're going to pull the trigger. And buyers are making a decision based on value, their perceived value, not the value we think we bring. Because if we say, I'm going to give you 5 calls and it's valued at $2,500, that doesn't mean jack to anybody. It only means something to you.
yeah,
So understanding what your buyers value and able to communicate your offer and your presence and your outcomes in that perspective will close sales. I'm not going to even say it's going to shorten the sales cycle.
yeah,
We have determined 2025 as a year of building. It is just a building year. Everybody should be looking at their sales process, their marketing, their messaging. Like, every part of your business should get a review and some refinement.
yeah,
And we're in cycles. So we're in the belief that you do the right building in 25 and early 26, you're going to have a great 26, 27, and into 2030.
yep. I agree with that as well. I've been
Mm-hmm.
spending a lot building up the team, the
Yeah.
infrastructure, and whatnot. And I've seen it with my other marketing agency colleagues as they're investing into their business. They may be dipping into savings in some cases, but it's for the best. And, I look at it optimistically because 2025, it may be a down year per se for some people. Uh, but you know what? The economy does not stop in 2026. There's
Exactly.
no finish line to this bad boy until we die, which I know that's a bit morbid, but we all die, and there will be a finish line for people. But the only way to fail is if you give up.
Yep.
And frankly, if you already have traction and you have sold before, well, if you're down, you may need to adjust your standard of living. But you know what? You're not failing. You're adjusting, you're refining, you're rebuilding, and then you can come back stronger. And I know selling a house standard of living is that's a big thing. That may not be what I'm getting at. I'm thinking if you've sold before, you can sell again. It may just take a little longer and be a little harder. But you know what?
Mhm.
That's life. And there are cycles to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, long-winded way to say I agree
Yeah.
completely.
No, that's great. And I don't know, maybe it was Hermosi said, do more, do better, do different.
Mm. Whoever it was, that's great.
It's great. And so the do more is do more what you just said. You've sold
Yeah.
in the past. You've won in the past. You just have to go back and find it and remember it and do more of that. As you're doing more, then you can determine what needs to be done differently
Yeah.
to improve those results. What we see business owners do, us included, is we'll do something and we'll get a result. And then the next month, we're like, what do you want to do now?
Yeah.
Let's go do something
Yeah.
different. No, do more. That worked.
Yes.
Do it again and do it again, and you get better. And then you can do different once you have proof of concept. So it goes back to we're building businesses. It's building businesses, not just selling stuff. We're
Hmm.
building businesses.
Yeah. I very much agree with that. It's and business is a game and it's personal. It's your game. And whether
Mm-hmm.
you want to make 100,000 a year, 10,000 a month, 100 million a year, you've got to figure out what level you realistically can play at. I can sit here all day long, Cindy, and tell you, Cindy, I want to make $1 billion a year. But no, that's not possible in this year because of all the systems and processes. I'm not coming from it negatively. It's just not realistic. I know the level which I want to play at, and I don't fool myself. A lot of people, they like to fool themselves into, hey, I'm going to go from $1 million a year to 100 million next year. Well, maybe. And if you do it, please come talk to me because I've got a podcast interview waiting for you. But we've got to figure out how we can realistically play the game where we don't burn out, die, fail, etc. And
Mm-hmm.
so again, not to be negative and pessimistic with it, but I come at this from a very realistic lens because so many people are selling the pipe dream and they're selling the allure of $10 million years from year two in this coaching and information product world. It is a crazy world, and again, it can be very, very profitable when done right, and a lot better than in other industries. But but it's a different time now. So Cindy, I'd love to land the plane on just thinking through, again, just the best fit client, um, who would be primed for success. And I want to look at this through the lens of, you know, I'm Daniel, and I just started my coaching business 6 months ago, and I'm posting in groups. I've got some lead flow, etc. What should I be doing to create a very strong foundation for sales in the future? Sales team, sales management, etc. I know I need a plan, or at least start planning for that. But
Mm-hmm.
anything else come to mind? System structure. You said team. Do I need a
Yeah.
marketing agency? I don't think so, personally.
No, no. I mean, when and when someone's at that phase of the business, it's all about, like you said, it's very personal. So it's still, they're wearing all the hats, they're doing all the stuff. It's really about, I think it goes back to the do more, do better, do differently. Like you have to just solidify who you are in the marketplace first,
Yeah.
really solidify your offers, solidify your services, get great testimonials, get amazing outcomes for your clients, and then you build on that. And that's literally all we did for probably the first 3 years of our business, which is run and gun. We just got really lucky. We worked our ass off for that luck, but we were lucky in the fact, but that's all we did was deliver, 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 fix it, deliver. And we made more mistakes than anybody on the planet. I wrote a manifesto at the end of 2015, like the 7 blessings, the 7 mistakes and blessings of, this incredible, because I think as a company, we did like a 1.2 million in 18 months. Like
Hmm.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that kind of money existed.
Hmm.
But man, we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And so you have to have the resiliency. And I love what you said, in our world, mistakes aren't mistakes. They're just, you're just gaining wisdom. You're just like, oh, I don't want to do that again. Great. Lesson learned. What do I do differently? That's how we determined our values, our company values, is the more mistakes we met. I'm like, why are we making this mistake over and over? I'm like, oh, it's because people don't know this is what we value,
Hmm.
which is results, which is ownership, which is partnership, which is flexibility. And
Yeah.
that's how our values were born.
Hmm. Yeah. I for a long time I didn't really understand what core values truly meant. Yeah, everybody
Mm.
hears it, mission, vision, values, but I reworked mine last year. The mission statement in particular, along with our core values for the team. And so I changed it from this convoluted mission statement. I can't even remember what it was exactly. I can't even remember what it was, but it was something like, "We exist to enable coaches and yada, whatever." And I changed it to, "Our mission at Be Known is to restore companies' trust in digital marketing," because we work with
So
so many
good.
that have been. Oh, thank you. We work with so many clients and companies that have been burned before. Affectionately, I call ourselves the burn unit. But anyway, but it's so important because once you land on a mission that truly clicks, and then our core values internally, I know this is a bit funny, but it we need our team members to be passionate, authentic, intentional, and devoted. PAID. Everybody wants to be
Mm.
paid. So, so with that being said, I love where we're landing the plane, because I spoke to a client of mine, a former client of mine, a few weeks ago. She is going to do 6 million this year in her information product business. Yeah, hats
Yay.
off to her. She is a powerhouse. Um, and so our conversation led to, Daniel, it's about being intentional and about having a great experience. Put people
Mhm.
through an excellent experience, everything from the very first touch all the way to onboarding, and then all the way into renewal and
Yes.
retention. And
Yes.
so crafting a great experience, I know this sounds a bit like fluff work if you're not into this stuff, but mission, define a mission, create a great plan, be realistic with it, and then be consistent. So, Cindy, anything else you'd like to add there? Any other thoughts come to mind before we talk about where
Mm.
people can find you?
No, I love what you said about consistency. Again, I often say like sales isn't sexy, but making money is sexy, and
Yeah,
having choice in life is sexy, and being able to support your family and give generations, and and give generously is really amazing. Um, so
yeah,
own your values, own your worth. I think that's been a big lesson for me and Jim over the years, is owning our worth and our experience and our expertise. Because of our clients always being up here, we're like, oh, well, they just must know so much more than us. No, they don't. No, they don't. They may know a lot of stuff that I don't know, but they don't know what I know. And that's
yeah,
what every business owner needs to understand, is what you bring to the table, how important it is, how valuable it is. And marketing may not seem like this big transformational, you're changing lives, but you are. And the same with sales, right? We're literally liberating and giving business owners freedom that they may not have ever thought they would have, because their
hmm,
business became such a mess
yeah.
and so burdensome.
So, Cindy, where can people find you? Somebody who's generating leads, making a lot of money, but just whoa, they need a
Wow!
helping hand. What's going on? I
Oh
need
my
help. Where?
gosh! Well, you can find us. We have a website. I do have a website now.
Yes.
gaintheedgenow.com. We've really been expanding our YouTube presence. So, Jim Padilla, Winning Sales Teams YouTube channel, lots and lots of great content about how to grow your business, how to make more sales, how to grow sales teams. It's a lot of great content over there. So those are probably the two
Excellent.
best places.
Yeah, I'll check out the YouTube videos. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for
There's some
sure.
good ones.
Well, Cindy, thank you for your time today. It's always great. Thanks for hanging out with me on this beautiful afternoon, and I appreciate all the words of wisdom.
Oh, thanks, Daniel. I'm glad our paths have crossed.
Thanks.
Very grateful.
All right, talk soon.